Hey, Magic Mike here. I'm your wholesaler coach, the people's stripper. I strip it down and I show you how to do it in your own business. I teach people how to wholesale deals automatically. And the topic for discussion today is how to wholesale more or how to wholesale less to make more money, right? Early on, my guru, he taught me some things like, you have to have all these fishing poles out, and the more poles you have out, the more lead sources, the more lists you're sending out. Foreclosure, probate, tax delinquent, code violations, evictions, all these lists going out. The more fishing poles you had out with hooks on them and bait, the more chances you had of getting a deal or a hook on the line. And the problem with that metaphor is you can't hold on to all them fishing poles. If one of those gets a hook and it gets dragged off, you've got to run over that pole. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what I was doing. I was sending out foreclosure lists, pre-foreclosure lists, tax delinquent, any list I could get, an inherited list, all these lists, and I was. My wife said, and of course this probably wasn't her, but I was a jack of all trades and a master of none. Yeah, I'm a little bit dyslexic, so I've got to focus and make sure I say it without saying it backwards. But when you've got all these different things you're trying to do, like earlier today, I saw we buy houses on the back of a SUV. It was like a sticker on the glass, and below that it said their phone number, and then below that it said, and we buy boats, cars, and anything of value. So it was like, well, what do you do? Do you buy cars and boats? You're trying to dabble in too many things and do everything. You know what I mean? And you've got all these fishing poles out, and once you get one fishing pole down, one strategy perfect, and you are that go-to guy that everybody says, well, hey, let me talk to Magic Mike about that, because this is in his area, this is his forte, this is his thing. Let's work with him, right? You'll be getting people wanting to work with you because you're like the guy that knows how that works. There's a guy where I'm at who does nothing but mobile homes. He's the only guy practically that wants mobile homes, and he's the best that he knows everything there is about it. Whether it's got an axle, not an axle, is it mobile? Do you go to the DMV? He knows because he's the go-to guy. He's that, if you want credit repair, who do you call? Juan Pablo, right? You want to build up your credit, get it strong, who are you going to call? Juan Pablo, right? So it's that kind of thinking. And who do you want as your mentor? Magic Mike, right? So I found out that my guru who had taught me these things, putting out all these fishing poles, getting all these lists going out, hopefully a deal comes in. I fired him, and I found out he was a fake, and I cut him off. I cut the line, right? Keep it up with the metaphor. And I was wondering, I was buying my leads from him. We were selling them to his buyers. I didn't have any of their contact info. I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to get through this? And I was staying up late, and one night they had this episode of Dragon Ball Z, and it had Vegeta, and he's a Saiyan, and Saiyans go Super Saiyan, and he was a prince. He deserved it to go Super Saiyan first and have all this power, as he would be, the prince of all Saiyans. And this peasant guy, Goku, became the first Super Saiyan. And so Vegeta almost ends up, I don't know if I want to spoil it, so spoilers, right? If you haven't seen it already, show from my childhood. But he almost dies, and he stops caring He says, I don't care anymore. Doesn't matter. Nothing mattered. And then at that point, he became Super Saiyan. The one thing he wanted more than anything else. It was that point when he realized, how you accomplish stuff, how you get what you really want. And I like to think that there's a lot of philosophy behind that, because, when I saw that, I was thinking, oh man, maybe I just don't care. Because I was wondering, do I need to go back and work at Walmart? Maybe this stuff this guru was teaching me wasn't right. Maybe it was just to keep me doing deals enough to get him money, but not so many that I become good at it. And I just started driving around. I remember that first, the reason that I had sold a property that I inherited was because it was vacant and it was far away, and it was too much for me to deal with. And so I was like, man, maybe I could find houses like that. And I just started driving around, and I focused on just finding vacant property. And I would look up where they lived, and I found, they lived way on the other side of the city, or in another state, or another county, 2 hours away. And so I put them in my list, and I would just send them letters. And I just focused on those vacant properties, and I just became that person. The vacant house was my only source of leads. Later on, I got a list of vacant houses, and that became my thing. That became like all I did was, is the house vacant? The sister lives there. All right, well, no, it's, I'm out. I'm not gonna even waste my time, putting out anything else. And then once I mastered that, that was where the turning point, where I actually picked myself back up. I started doing deals myself with my leads, selling them to my buyers that I found. I also had to go out, find real cash buyers. And that was the turning point for me, is, I just need to focus on one thing, which is a good book. I'm actually rereading that book this month. I think Gary Keller, Kelly Williams writes it, but The One Thing is the title. And I just focused on that one thing, and I became so good at it that whenever a vacant property came around, I could lock it up like that, get it under contract, and then of course, flip it. And the worst thing at the time that my buyers wanted, the one thing they didn't want, was a property with a tenant. Now people kind of want properties with tenants in them, but back then, like 2012, 13, right around in there, that was when people didn't want stuff. And so I was like, well, let me focus on that. That way I'm not struggling because I could be doing vacant properties and occupied properties, like tenant occupied, and then I'd be, selling stuff I'd be finding and selling properties to people who want vacant, and then I'd be selling to landlords, and just all that. No, I was like, let me just focus on vacant property. Just find vacant, free and clear vacant property, and then sell it to cash buyers, easy peasy. And it's so simple, and I just kept doing, rinse and repeat. I was able to do it quicker, I was able to do it better, and faster, which is another good book by Robert Duguay. I'm kind of on a roll right now. But I would say the best thing for you to do is to find your thing, your one lead source, your one form of deals, and you be that person. If it's negotiating short sales, you be the short sale person in your area. So when anybody has a short sale deal, they're going to think about you, and they're going to cut you in on it, right? Your network is your network, right? Because I'm just giving this guy who does nothing but mobile homes, I'm just giving him these mobile home leads, because there's barely anything in them, so I'm like just giving them to him, and he's probably getting them from other people for free too. Like, the second I found out it was a mobile home, I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. And he's so good at it that I can't even jump into the mobile home market. It's like this guy has got his hands everywhere. So it wasn't until I stuck to that one thing, and it worked. And I just I focused on it. You know, so if you're having trouble like I was, you know, finding these, you know, your thing, that's something we can work on, and finding out what you are good at. You always want to play to your strengths and not try to improve your weaknesses, because it's hard to explain, but you know, I'm good with people, I'm good with finding motivation, and I'm good with vacant properties and cash buyers, and you know, I'm not good with negotiating a short sale, so I let other people do that for me, right? So I focus on improving my strengths, and I find other people to do take over my weaknesses, whatever that may be. You know, you've got to focus on what really makes you the most money, really, and the task that's going to equate to the most. So again, I want to go back to when you've got these fishing lines out and you've got these leads going out, and hopefully leads coming back in. You want to master that first one. So you get one fishing pole, you got that hook going out, that lead source is coming in. You want to master that one. Make sure you get that one down pat. You can do it in your sleep, and just make sure that you know the ins, the outs, and you're never really going to know like everything. You're always going to be wearing a white belt. You know, the guy who created judo, the guy who came up with judo out of his own mind and created a whole new form of martial arts, he was dying, and he brought all his students in. He said, hey, I want you to bury me in a white belt. The belt you start with. Yeah. Okay, so, you know, back to the real talk. You know, you're always a student. You're always learning, you know, whether it's learning how to goof off, but you're always a student, and you're always going to learn stuff. But make sure you master that one line, that one fishing pole, that lead source, before you take on another. And then take on that other one, master that the same way, and then put that one down, have it running on autopilot, get that next one coming in. You know, it's not just let me line up like 50 lead sources and have them, you know, bringing in leads and I'm struggling to manage them all, or I've got like a team, just, you know, manage it, however, you know. So you want to master it, line up a new one, master that, line up a new one, master that. So that's, you know, the level of focus. So yeah, the more fishing poles you have out, the better, and the more leads sources you have coming in matters. But what matters more is that how you handle each one. You know, the worst thing, you know, you'll start losing deals because people think you're a call center, where, you know, you're a bunch of people in a cubicle. You know, when they call into me, it's, oh, you're just a guy flipping houses. Like, oh, I don't hear other people in the background. And of course, that's my call center. But I seem like I'm just a regular guy, and I'm the only guy. I'm like a mom and pop investor, and I'm wanting to buy their particular house, and that's how you want to see. And I'm able to do that because I focused on that one strategy. So if you found that helpful, imagine how much you're going to get in the one-on-one training directly with me, learning how to be a master with the sensei on wholesaling houses in your market, and then we'll master that, and then you'll move on to the next one. So if you want to click a link in the description, you can learn more about how to wholesale deals with Magic Mike. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching the video. We appreciate your viewership. By the way, guys, make sure you subscribe to 100%finance.com. We have a plethora of tools that can help you succeed financially. We have a report on credit repair, 3 tips on how you can improve your FICO score. We also have a business credit ebook. We have a ton of real estate related documents, from deal analyzers to a mortgage calculator, a whole bunch of resources. You just have to subscribe. And one last thing, don't want to forget, we are offering free live webinars to answer your questions. This is only made available to our website subscribers. So you have to subscribe to 100percentfinance.com to receive the details as to the date, the time, and the call-in information for the webinars to answer your credit repair, business credit, or business funding needs, as well as your real estate related questions. Thank you guys again for watching, and subscribe.